First, if you're even asking yourself the question, am I giving too much in this relationship? There's a very good chance the answer is yes. And if that's you, today's video is definitely for you. So make sure to watch until the end. We're going to talk about what giving too much actually means in love, the pitfalls of overgiving, because yes, there are big ones, and 5 clear signs you're crossing that line so you can start turning things around before resentment or burnout sets in. Hi, gorgeous. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Mireille Nicole. I'm the creator of the Happily Ever After method, and I'm all about helping you tackle the tough stuff in love with grace and wisdom. I also post videos about non-toxic living and healthy eating, so if you're into that sort of stuff, I'd love for you to stick around and subscribe. If you're feeling drained, constantly trying to make things work, or wondering why your partner feels more distant, you might be overgiving in love, and it could be hurting your relationship more than helping it. Giving more love doesn't always make a relationship better. I'm about to flip that belief on its head. Let's talk about why too much giving can actually push love away. And let me start by talking about what I mean by giving too much, right? In healthy love, giving feels natural. It's like a dance where sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, but there's a balance. And actually, if that sounds contrary to the principles of feminine and masculine energy, I can explain. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to clarify, because I realize now that might cause confusion. But when you're giving too much, the balance tips, and suddenly you're the one doing all the emotional heavy lifting. You're overinvesting your time, your energy, and even identity into keeping the relationship going, often at the expense of your own needs. Healthy love seems more effortless. It feels natural to give, and it almost happens without you overthinking or being attached to any outcome. Now, I want to be clear. Giving isn't bad. Relationships require generosity. But when giving becomes your default mode without equal reciprocity or at the expense of your physical or your mental health, it can quietly drain you. And that's not a healthy relationship. Relationships also require work. So I don't want you to misinterpret the word effortless for easy, because it's definitely not always easy. Think of it like watering a plant, but you're pouring all your water into one pot and leaving your own roots bone dry. Eventually, both plants start to wilt. There's also the flip side of this, and I see more and more of it in this age of personal development and growth and borderline obsession with bettering oneself, but focusing too much on you and giving your own roots too much water while not pouring into your relationship can also work against your love. Okay, let's talk about why this matters. When you give too much in love, you teach your partner that they don't need to contribute as much, not necessarily because they're selfish, but because you've made it too easy for them not to. And they may also start to feel like you don't even trust them enough to do it, so why should they bother? I'm not saying that's healthy, but it's often the reality. You also lose your own spark and the very qualities that attracted him to you in the first place. That starts to fade because he fell in love with the fun-loving version of you, right? The one that was happy and enjoyed being around him, not the version of you that feels drained or taken for granted. You create an imbalance that's hard to reverse because patterns in relationships have a way of sticking, and they even start repeating themselves in new relationships. So this is definitely something you want to address, whether you decide to stay in your relationship or decide to go. And maybe the hardest truth: overgiving doesn't actually create closeness. In fact, it can do the opposite. It can make your partner pull away because you're removing that healthy space that allows attraction and connection to grow. This whole topic is similar to another video I did called Why Men Suddenly Care When You Stop Caring, or something like that. I'll post the link up here if you want to go watch it next, but it's kind of the same idea, so you'll definitely want to check it out actually. All right, now let's talk about the 5 signs you're giving too much in your relationship. Sign number 1, you feel run down all the time and you don't have time for your own self-care. If your calendar is full of his needs, his schedule, his problems, or for the family, right? But you can't remember the last time you did something just for yourself, that's a sign you're overgiving. Sign number 2, you've lost your sense of self. Maybe you don't know what you like anymore, want to do anymore. Your dreams are on are on hold. Maybe you've forgotten that you are a whole, vibrant person outside of this relationship. This is actually a mistake I made in my last marriage, and it hit me like a ton of bricks after divorce. I realized I hadn't been listening to the same type of music. I wasn't even dressing the way I normally would. I had lost the real me. Sign number 3, you can only see the negative and you don't feel happy most of the time. This happens when you're pouring energy in but not getting much back. It's like emotional debt and the interest rate is brutal. Oof. That's a bit of a boring finance example, but really the point is, if you get to the point that nothing he does seems right or it's never enough and you can't help but notice it all the time, you're probably giving too much. If it's hard to see the positive intention behind his actions, and me even just saying this right now, if this whole video is triggering you right now, that's a sign. Sign number 4, you're desperately trying to fix things and your focus is almost entirely on the relationship. If your mental energy is consumed with, how can I make this work? How can I make him happy? You're probably giving more than is healthy. This was actually me in years 3 to 6 of dating my husband. My relationship felt so fragile at that time, and I was so anxious about it that when a girlfriend of mine had suggested that we should do a girls' trip on a weekend, my body literally tensed up and I couldn't do it. I do think it's important to fix things in your relationship if something isn't working. Obviously, that's the whole premise of the work I do with women. But if it feels hard and like you've tried everything and you're just exhausted, you're just not doing it right and you're over giving. Now, if this is you, make sure to watch the video I linked to at the end because you'll learn the most effective approach to do this, to fix your relationship without over giving. Sign number 5, your partner is feeling distant, he's pulling away, or he's just not stepping up. Here's the kicker. Sometimes the more you give, the less they do. And not because they're bad people, but again, because you've accidentally made their job too easy or if you've unintentionally hindered the attraction between the two of you. I'm not saying this to make you feel any kind of blame or shame. It's not your fault, and I did this too in my relationship. Now, I want to be fair here. There are times when it's natural for one partner to give more. Maybe your partner is going through an illness or a very stressful season at work, or maybe he's caring for a sick family member. Relationships do ebb and flow, but here's the difference. If it's temporary and he appreciates you, that's one thing. But if it becomes the norm or an expectation and you're feeling drained, invisible, or taken for granted, that's not a healthy rhythm. So what can you do if you recognize yourself in these signs? Like I said, I did a whole video on how to stop caring so much so he cares more, so make sure to watch it. But here are a few tips for you today. First, pause and check in with yourself. Ask, what do I actually need right now? When's the last time I gave to myself as much as I give to him? Second, start putting some of that energy back into you. This might mean saying no more often or reconnecting with hobbies and friends. That's what I did. I really focused on my friendships. Allowing your partner to meet you halfway instead of jumping in and doing everything yourself. Just trust him. Even letting him figure things out, completing, really learning to trust and let go. And finally, remember this. Healthy love isn't about keeping score, but it is about balance. So don't start writing everything down and, checking off who's winning. But do pay attention because you deserve to feel nourished in your relationship, not depleted. If you're realizing you've been overgiving, don't beat yourself up. Many women fall into this pattern because we're taught to believe that the more we give, the more love we'll get back. It just sounds like common sense. But the truth, real connection comes from showing up as your whole self, needs and all, and allowing space for your partner to give too. And he's going to love that. Men want to provide, protect, and to make you happy. So let them do that. So gorgeous, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these signs resonated the most? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. If this video spoke to you, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend who needs to hear it, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a new video I put out. Until next time, remember, you are worthy of love without giving all of you to someone else. Now watch this video next.